I am Zhao Go, known to history as Emperor Gaozong of the Song dynasty. Born in 1107, I was the ninth son of Emperor Gaozong, a ruler more devoted to art than the perils of governance. My elder brother Emperor Qinzong inherited the throne, but fate would not permit him to hold it for long. The Jurchen warriors of the Jin dynasty descended upon our great capital Kaifeng in 1127, and with the Jingkang Incident, they seized my father, my brother, and most of the imperial family, taking them as captives to the north. I alone escaped. Thus began my struggle, not only to survive but to preserve the legacy of the Song. In the wake of that catastrophe, I fled south, gathering what remnants of loyalists I could find. With their support, I declared myself emperor in 1127, establishing my court in Linan, modern-day Hangzhou. My dynasty was shattered, but I would not let it fall. This was the birth of the Southern Song. Yet my reign was defined by war. The Jin pursued me, seeking to snuff out the last ember of the Song. I relied on my generals, men of unwavering resolve like Yue Fei, Han Shizhong, and Zhang Jun. Yue Fei, in particular, struck terror into the hearts of our enemies, reclaiming lost lands and proving that the Song could still stand against the northern invaders. But war is not waged with courage alone. The court was divided between those who sought continued resistance and those who favored peace. My chancellor Qin Hui argued for negotiation, and in 1141 we reached the Treaty of Shaoxing with the Jin, securing a fragile peace at the cost of recognizing their superiority and paying tribute. Some accused me of betrayal when Yue Fei was recalled and executed under dubious charges. I will not dwell on those whispers. I sought to secure the empire, to prevent endless war. A kingdom without a ruler is chaos, and I would not risk my throne. I ruled for over 3 decades, stabilizing the government, strengthening the economy, and ensuring the prosperity of the South. Linan became a city of flourishing trade and culture, a beacon of what remained of the Song spirit. I expanded the civil service system, promoted Neo-Confucianism, and ensured the survival of my dynasty even in the face of humiliation. In 1162, weary of politics, I abdicated in favor of my adopted son, Emperor Gaozong, though I continued to wield influence from behind the curtain. I am Emperor Gaozong of Song. I was not the mightiest of warriors, nor the most heroic of rulers, but I endured. I preserved the Song, ensuring that it lived on, not in Kaifeng, not in its former glory, but in a new form. And for that, history shall remember me.
The reign of Emperor Gaozong marked one of the most turbulent and transformative periods in Chinese history. Though the emperor himself played a cautious and strategic role in navigating the chaos, his reign was dominated not by courtly intrigue or reform, but by the existential struggle between the Southern Song dynasty and their powerful northern rivals, the Jin dynasty. Following the catastrophic Jingkang Incident in 1127, when the Jurchen-led Jin forces sacked the Song capital of Kaifeng and abducted Emperor Gaozong and his son Emperor Qinzong, the once mighty northern Song collapsed. What followed was a scramble to preserve what remained of the dynasty. As the Jin army swept southward, ravaging cities and annexing territory, remnants of the Song loyalist court retreated and regrouped. In this chaos, the Song regime was reborn in the south with a new capital at Linan, modern-day Hangzhou. While this region was more defensible and economically robust, it lacked the political prestige and manpower of the north. The Southern Song dynasty, though diminished, would endure for over a century. Its survival tested constantly by the unrelenting Jin threat. From the moment of its foundation, the Southern Song faced an uphill battle to repel the Jin invaders. The early years of Gaozong's reign were marked by relentless warfare across central and eastern China. These were not merely border skirmishes but massive, bloody campaigns that saw the rise of some of the dynasty's most iconic military figures. Among the many generals who rose to prominence during these conflicts, Yue Fei stands as a towering figure. A brilliant tactician and unshakably loyal to the Song cause, Yue Fei led several successful campaigns against the Jin, pushing as far north as the outskirts of Kaifeng, the former Song capital. Yu's victories at Yanqing and Yingshan in the 1140s reignited hope that the north could be reclaimed. His disciplined army and his famed motto, "Return my rivers and mountains," became symbols of national resistance. However, his aggressive push northward conflicted with the court's desire for peace. The Jin launched a major offensive in central China, but Yue anticipated their movements. At Yanqing, he decisively defeated Jin forces with a flanking maneuver that disrupted their cavalry, a rare feat. While Yue Fei was winning on the battlefield, the political climate in Linen was turning against him. Emperor Gaozong and Chancellor Qin Hui feared Yu's growing popularity and the possibility that reclaiming the north might force the emperor to restore the captured Emperor Qinzong, threatening Gaozong's own throne. Behind the battlefield triumphs, the court in Linen was deeply divided. Many high-ranking officials, particularly Chancellor Qin Hui, favored a diplomatic approach, arguing that prolonged warfare would drain the fragile resources of the southern Song. In 1141, these concerns culminated in the Treaty of Shaoxing, a controversial peace agreement that effectively legitimized Jin control over northern China. The treaty fixed the border along the Huai River and forced the Song to pay tribute to the Jin. Most infamously, it led to the recall and execution of Yue Fei, accused of crimes under questionable charges. The general's death sparked outrage, and he would later be celebrated as a national martyr. He was executed in prison at the age of 39, along with his son Yu Yun and fellow General Zhang Xian. Even though the Treaty of Shaoxing preserved the southern Song, it did so at the cost of national pride and territorial integrity. It allowed the dynasty to survive, but it also ensured it would never again be seen as the ruler of a unified China. When the Mongols eventually conquered both the Jin and later the Song, many looked back at this treaty as the beginning of the end, where peace was bought with the blood of heroes and the loss of half the empire. Facing a powerful enemy with superior cavalry, the southern Song shifted their focus to naval power and fortified defense. In 1161, the Jin Emperor Wanyan, also known as Prince Hailing, launched a massive invasion to completely conquer the southern Song and reunify China under Jin rule. He personally led an enormous army southward, while a massive Jin navy attempted to cross the Yangtze River at Kaisher, in modern-day Anhui province. But the southern Song navy, under the command of Li Bao and Zhang Shun, was exceptionally well prepared. They used fast paddle wheel ships, improved naval tactics, and a superior knowledge of river conditions. During the battle, the Song forces bombarded the Jin ships with fire arrows and gunpowder bombs, an early form of naval gunpowder warfare, possibly one of the first of its kind in history. The Jin fleet was decisively defeated. The Song Navy's mobility and firepower shattered the invading forces' momentum. Not long after the defeat at Kaisher and another failure at Tangdao, Wanyan was assassinated by his own generals, and the Jin invasion collapsed. The southern Song had not only survived, but proven it could hold its own against the north. Emperor Gaozong of Song retired in 1162, after a long and tumultuous reign that lasted over 35 years. His abdication was not forced, nor was it the result of scandal or illness. It was a calculated and voluntary decision, shaped by years of war, politics, and the weight of responsibility. Likely weary of the burdens of rule and perhaps to secure a stable succession, Gaozong abdicated in favor of his adopted son, Zhao Shen, who became Emperor Xiaozong. This transfer of power was peaceful, and Gaozong retained the honorary title of Taishang Huang, retired emperor.